To bring things down, let's get serious here, guys, okay? Now, we're going to talk about a very serious issue. You may have seen about the Brexit in the news. This is a compound word which combines broken and exit, or Britain and exit. Britain and exit. I'm working on that. And so now, to explain the ramifications of this Brexiting, please welcome to the stage Fran Hoephner, everybody.
Hey guys, I know many of you have reached out to me over the past week and said, Fran, can you please explain the Brexit? Fran, you know so much about the Brexit, can we talk about it? And rather than sort of give individual explanations to not only everyone here, but everyone online and who I see every day, I thought I'd kind of put together a big kind of frequently asked questions about Brexit and walk you guys through it now. So starting off, just on June 23rd, which is this past week, Britain voted to leave the European Union in a referendum put in place by the United Kingdom Prime Minister David Cameron. This is a very big deal, but also very confusing because this is a different country than America. And like Pat said before, Brexit is a combination of the words exit and British, but reversed. Okay, next slide. In case you're wondering what my qualifications are, I studied abroad in London in September 2011 to March of 2012. And those are my qualifications. Thank you so much. I had a really amazing time. In case you're wondering what classes I took when I studied abroad, I have a list. I took History of British Theatre, American Literature, Shakespeare's London, 1960s British Film, and also British Politics since 1980, but I only attended 4 out of 10 of those classes. As was the requirement to pass my class and otherwise go to parties while living abroad in London. Cool. So big question, what's Great Britain? Great Britain is sort of the British Isles. It's composed of a couple different countries. It's also just the United Kingdom. Like, my name is Fran, but I'm also called Francis. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Great Britain consists of Scotland, England, Wales, and not Ireland. And there's a really easy way for you to remember this that I've put together, which, if you see the next slide, while I was studying abroad, I lived in London, which is in Great Britain. I visited Scotland, which is in Great Britain. I visited Wales, which is in Great Britain, and I did not visit Ireland, which is not in Great Britain. So if you're asking yourself which countries are in Great Britain, it's the ones I spent time in, and the ones that are not are the ones I didn't get to go to. Which is just, when you're only there for 6 months, you only have so much time, you can only visit so many places. Yeah, it was just 6 months. So if we look at the next slide, so that's going to be really easy for you guys to remember when you're thinking about me and my time abroad. Next, what is the European Union? The European Union consists of all kinds of countries, including, if we look at the next slide, the ones I visited, which included France, Greece, Italy, the Czech Republic, and Budapest. Yeah, I'm working through it. So if we just, here's some really great pictures of me while abroad. Yeah, I had a really great time. I look like 60% more heterosexual than these. So the big thing with the Brexit was that there was a big argument to remain and there was a big argument to leave. And so why should Great Britain have stayed in the European Union? Well, the argument to remain is that when I first moved into my apartment in London, initially I felt like I had a really hard time understanding the people I lived with. I was with 7 other strangers all living in one apartment, but eventually we kind of all got to know each other and understand each other, and it's really great to have friends who are different from you. Yeah. In addition, Great Britain has all sorts of weird candies. These are just things I know about. Chocolate fingers, digestives, jammy dodgers, Jaffa cakes. Also, Viennese sandwich is a form of British candy, but it sounds European, which is, I think, a pretty convincing argument to stay involved in the European Union. And additionally, what was Great Britain's main motivation for leaving the European Union? So this one is a little tougher for me to sort of extrapolate, but here we go. So when I was living in London, we also lived with this guy who never wanted to go out for curry with us, and he thought it was very gross, and he kind of spoke louder than everyone else we lived with. So eventually everyone started to believe that curry was actually gross, but it's just that my roommate was loud. And eventually, in more cases than one, we ordered British Dominoes, which is a fun thing for you to think about what that might taste like. Yeah. So what wound up happening in the case of the Brexit specifically is that Great Britain voted to leave 52% to 40%, which is not good. So when I was living in London, I lived with this girl named Caitlin. Caitlin was a studio art major from Boston, and at one point she was doing this like big installation project where she needed all these sticks, and she kept these sticks in the hall for weeks on end, and she also said, if you touch my sticks, I'll kill you, which I did believe, given sort of her kind of trajectory of living with us. And that's just a story of what it was like to live with someone. That's it. We can move on. So London in particular, which is where I lived when I was studying abroad from 2011 to 2012 for 6 months, is obviously very mad about the Brexit. Here's a picture of me with a big bird. I tried to look at what represented anger, and I just wanted to share this photo. Okay, next slide. So what happens to Great Britain now is actually kind of a huge and scary question. What happens is that I haven't been back since 2012, but it actually is like an incredible, affordable time to go there. I got this alert from this app I have that flights are only $5.90 round trip, and the pound is actually tanking. So I've also been like ordering from all my favorite British manufacturers, both crafts and books and also clothes. It's a really good time to just like buy all the stuff you like there and or visit with some friends who have never been before. So that's what will happen there. David Cameron did resign over this. In addition, my favorite restaurant in London, if you are going to go, is called Standard Balti House. It's really good. If you go, just let me know, because I'll tell you what to get there. Cool. In addition, the Great British Bake Off is a great show that airs on PBS. And this show came back tonight, actually. I haven't seen the episode. And I hope that despite everything that's going on, all the sort of anti-immigration rhetoric kind of kicked up in Britain in particular, that this show can continue on, because it's a really nice sort of way for me to wind down after a while. Mary Berry! Yeah. Yeah, Mary Berry, that's awesome. Paul Hollywood, that's the other guy. Okay, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch the show. It's on PBS. It's a free channel. So also Scotland is trying to go back in with the European Union. That was sort of the talk at the end of this week. There's a really great picture of me in the Scottish Highlands that I think is really beautiful. Yeah, here are a couple other pictures of me sort of together, and that's just sort of what I want to get at, is that Europe is like an amazing place to visit, and if you get the opportunity to study abroad, I think it's really important that you do so in order to like learn about sort of a different culture and to be able to say that you identify as like pretty British, as I often do and will continue to do for the rest of my life after having lived there for 6 months. In addition, I also think the hateful rhetoric and violence that spurned the Leave movement is like pretty significant to America as we approach our upcoming election, but again, not as exciting as visiting Big Ben. I don't like the Beatles. I mean, I'll take like 2 questions if people want to ask me them. I can't see very well, but am I allowed to do that? No one's really told me what I'm allowed to do. Does anyone have any questions about Brexit? You can just shout them at me. You don't? Well, I'm so glad. And cheers is a British word. But that's all for me on Brexit. Thank you so much.
Hey, Fran, thanks for that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Very informative.
I tried really hard to sort of draw from both my personal experiences and the 3 Vox articles I read.
Right. Vox is that's the one online, right?
Yep, it's an online publication.
Yes. Not it doesn't come in the mail like most other publications, as
It's
you know.
true.
Right. Fran.
Yep.
Coming up in the near future.
Yeah.
In distant future. Or the past.
Yeah.
Like what is highlighted for you in terms of events, sequentially, chronologically?
Big events. I want to plug that I'm going on vacation this next week to Michigan. back at the Bellhop at the Virgin Hotel,
Ooh.
which is a great show.
Really great show.
Really very fun show at 9
Yes.
p.m. Virgin Hotel, Saturday, July 9th. I'm doing a show called Helltrap Nightmare at the Hideout on July 20th. That's a Wednesday. And I will be at July 21st doing Chirp Radio for the first time, talking about food, I think, which I did a little bit in this and will continue to talk more so about. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for having me.
Duh, anytime. Fran Hoephner, y'all. Thank you, Fran. I love it. It's so great. Brexit. We're all learning things. And now, I'll get out of the way so I'm not in the way. But I'm going to welcome up these young people. Do not be alarmed by the